Yo, what's up? JRod's back for another edition of Hallpass with JRod. This is a tough conversation I got to have with you. We're going into the seasons. We've got fall season kicking off. It's kicked off for some of you already. And then we've got winter and spring season, sports seasons coming up. And I've got to have a conversation with you because we need to learn and know our roles. If you're a parent, you need to be a parent. If you're a coach, be a coach. Now, the tough thing is, especially with youth sports, you need a lot of volunteers, and parents are volunteers. And so, definitely separating the two is a very difficult thing. I'm going to talk about kind of more actually across the board because I've done it all. I'm a parent of 4 boys, and I've been a coach for 25 years, a professional coach and volunteer coach. And I've learned a lot. Doesn't mean I'm an amazing expert at any of it, but and I'm a teacher. So I have a lot of experience with dealing with humans and the human level. And so what we need to do is we need to know our roles. And I'm going to talk about my bona fides first, like what qualifies me to even talk to you. Because some of you are like, who's this guy, JRod? I don't know. I just saw him. He came across my feed, whatever. Okay, well, listen to my words. A lot of you have kids. And a lot of you want your kids to be athletes, and a lot of your kids want to be athletes. This goes for being a musician, an actor. I mean, I just covered probably 85% of all people in America, maybe the world. They want to be athletes. They want to be a musician. They want to be an actor. All right. Now, there are other people that don't want to do any of those things, but eventually they're going to want to work, and you're dealing with a boss, the same as a coach, kind of, same as a parent, kind of, right? So it all kind of factors in. I'm literally talking to everybody, all 9 billion of you on the planet. Listen to my words. Know your role. Let me just talk about as a parent's role. Your role is to get your kid to practice and to games on time, fed, hydrated, uniform clean, and get them sleep. That's your role. And then to watch and observe. Now I say this, my parents never once came to one of my sporting events, ever. You should break that trend. Even if you're standing there saying nothing, be present. Even if your kid's not going to play today, be present. Don't just go, oh, my kid doesn't play, I'm not going. How does that make your kid feel? Everything I'm going to tell you today is through your kid's lens. All right? So you're at the game. You're watching the game. Go, Johnny, go. Don't root against people. Don't cheer when people get hurt. I've seen it. It's terrible. Don't scream at the refs. If you think you're so good at reffing, you try it. It is hard. Even reffing like first graders. It's hard. You're like, did I really see that? I'm not quite sure I saw that. Did I have the right angle? Oh, I'm the only one there. I had to have the right angle. I got to make a call. If you think you're a tough guy, try it. It's incredibly hard. And by the way, as a participant, I was a jerk to referees because I didn't have any empathy for them. I didn't realize how hard it was until I tried it myself. Coaching youth sports, same thing. It's very difficult. There's a fine line between showing favoritism to your kid and not. And I got to tell you, as a parent coach, even though my kid was the best player on the team by far, I did everything I could to not show favoritism. In fact, I would get him out of the game. If we get a 10-point lead or something, I'd get him out immediately, get someone else in there. He probably didn't like it too much, but I did. I did everything I could. I didn't coach him very often any of them very often. I did a few times, but I didn't. That's not a good role for me. So you should also know your limitations too. I know that is a limitation for me. I cannot be a parent and a coach to my kid. Here's the part that makes the kid quit on an average of 13 years old. It's the ride home. You got to know your role. One thing, on the ride home, don't ever talk about the game. Don't rehash the game. Don't say, hey, you missed the free throw. Don't say, hey, you got that holding call in the third quarter. Don't say anything about the game. The kid's reliving it. The kid just spent a half hour after the game with some incompetent coach, maybe, or competent, that rehashed the whole game, which, by the way, is the wrong time to rehash the game immediately after the game. You have like 2 minutes. Hey, this is what we're going to work on tomorrow at practice. Get yourself some sleep, get some food, get some water, get out of here. That's what a good coach should do after a game. Not stand there and scream at him for half an hour, which I've seen, or an hour, which I've seen. But I'm going to go there in a minute. Your job is not to talk to them about the game after the game. I don't even care if they did a great job. Hey, it was fun watching you, and drop it. Now, tomorrow, the next day, you can talk about the game. Now, let me back up a second. That doesn't mean you can't talk about the game with your friends or your partner or your family or whatever, just out of earshot of the kid. The other thing is, your role is not to badmouth the coach, no matter how terrible the coach is. As a parent, I have had pedophiles coach my kids. I've had convicted rapists coach my kids. I've had convicted drug dealers coach my kids. I've had great coaches too. I've had subpar coaches. I've had coaches, their claim to fame was they played basketball with an NBA player. Terrible coach, but that was their claim to fame. And I did everything I could not to say a word to any of them. Just support them. They need support. Hey, you need a little bit of money. You need me to wash those towels or the practice jersey or whatever. I'll do it. No problem. You need me to make that call? I'll do it. That's your role. Now, that doesn't mean you can't criticize the coach, just not to the kid. If you're going to criticize the coach, do it out of earshot of the kid. Right? You do not want to badmouth the coach and then have your kid feeling, oh man, mom and dad hate my coach, and now I got to go to practice tomorrow with my coach, and now it's going to lead in. Now we're going to worry about playing time and blah, blah, blah. It puts so much more stress on your kid. They don't deserve that. They deserve your full support, at least in earshot of them at all times. Don't rip on the coach in your bedroom when they can hear you. Think about what I'm telling you here. You're putting so much stress on your kid. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just talking about my bona fides here. I've had 4 kids go through high school, go through youth sports from they were 5 on. Probably, I don't know if it's 1,000 games in all sports, but a lot of games, a lot of teams, a lot of coaches, etc. I've seen good, I've seen bad. And I've done the best I could to keep my mouth shut. And there have been a few times when I didn't. And I still feel bad about it. But your role is not to criticize the coach in front of your kid. All right? Please heed these words. I just talked about your role. All right? Please be supportive of your kid. Don't put undue pressure on your kid. Now, some more bona fides. Yes, I've had kids that didn't get a position, had to change positions actually, because the kid that was inferior, their dad was a big contributor to the program. So they got the job. So my kid, who was superior at that position, had to move positions. And that led to a crappy deal, and they lost almost every game. They were just a bad team. But I've had that. That's a frustrating season when you know your kid's better than the kid that's playing, but that kid, their dad is a big contributor, therefore they got the job. I've been there. Yep. I've also been there when my kid was by far the best player in the whole program. My kid is probably one of the top 10 kids to ever come out of that program, ever. And yet the coaches come to me and said, your kid's not a leader. What? Yeah, your kid's not a leader. But my kid's averaging 25 a game and, they'll do whatever you want. Yeah, but your kid's not a leader. Well, what does a leader mean to you? Well, he's not yelling and screaming and cheering his teammates on. Well, that's not him. He's kind of a quiet assassin kind of guy. You need a rebound, he'll go get it. You need a steal, he'll go get it. You need a three-pointer, he'll get it. But he's not a rah-rah guy. But that's how they determined what a leader was. That wasn't my kid. But for them to come to me before a game in the middle of a season and say, oh yeah, your kid's not a leader. What? But that's something I had to deal with as a parent. So I've had to deal with adversity. I've dealt with things that are great. Your kid hitting the last second shot is phenomenal. Your kid, catching a last second field goal. Your kid catching a touchdown and then the very next play getting a pick six. That's amazing. What a feeling, right? It's amazing. And by the way, this is for both boys and girls, okay? Your daughter shouldn't be hearing about the game and all the things they did wrong on the way home from that game. Think about what position you're putting your kid in when you do things like that. Now, on the flip side, for coaches, just because your kid beats the crap out of everybody in the neighborhood at horse doesn't mean they're a good basketball player. I feel like there's a lot of parents who think their kid is the next Michael Jordan. Meanwhile, they can't run. They're very slow. They don't play defense. They can't shoot. They can dribble a little bit. They can't learn the plays. They don't hustle. You don't see that part in practice. All you see is the kid come home and complain. So there are different levels. I'm just going to do a meld here of how parents can be unhappy. Your kid barely made the team and they're not playing. You're unhappy. The kid made the team and is playing a little bit, but he's not starting. You're unhappy. Your kid's starting, but he's getting pulled halfway through the game. You're unhappy. Your kid's starting, playing a lot, but the plays that aren't being called for your kid. You're unhappy. Kid's playing the whole game, but is subbed out in the last 3 minutes of the game. You're unhappy. Kid's playing the whole game, but they're not calling the last second shot for your kid. You're unhappy. Kids playing the whole game. They are calling the last second shot in the game, but they can't get the ball to your kid. You're unhappy. Your kid's playing the whole game. They call the last second shot for your kid. Your kid gets the ball, shoots the shot, or takes a handoff and gets tripped up and falls short of the goal line, or the ball bounces out of the rim. You're unhappy. Kid, plays the whole game. Last second shot called for them. They get the ball. They do a move. They shoot the shot. The ball goes in, and the coach doesn't cheer loud enough. You're unhappy, right? Those are like 6 or 8 things that parents can be unhappy about. If you're looking to be unhappy, you can be unhappy. Just don't exude it and don't show the kid. All right? As a coach, if you're dealing with high school coaches, let's just start there. Those are professional coaches. They're not getting paid much, but they are getting paid. And they spend a heck of a lot more time than you do with your kid on the field or on the court. So they know how your kid works at practice. And I've had a lot of kids play a lot more minutes for me that weren't as talented as other kids because they worked so hard at practice and they did the extra mile and they, were always running. They were never complaining. They were good teammates. They weren't mean to each other. You have no idea how your kid deals with other kids on the team at practice. And remember, a lot of times the coaches only know your kid based on practice and tryouts. They don't know that your kid's gone through, a surgery and, all this stuff to get there. They don't know that. So take it easy on the coaches. All right? They're trying their best. They don't need you screaming at them from the sidelines or from the cheap seats up there how great of a coach you might have been at some point, or a player you might have been. The challenge is trying not to live your life and your, either successes or failures through your kid. That's straight talk with JRod right there. It's hard not to do. But your kid is not you. Your kid is your kid. They've got their own strengths and weaknesses. Think about this. You very rarely see an all-time great, one of their kids, also be an all-time great. Matter of fact, you rarely see them be any good. It happens. It's rare. Even for the greatest. So, no, sorry, your kid is not Michael Jordan. I don't care if they beat everyone in the neighborhood. They are not, the greatest ever. No. Until they show it, until they dominate. Now you think about, who goes to the NFL, who goes to the NBA. In a whole state like my state, maybe out of everybody that's playing the sport in any given moment, maybe one would be on the, scout or practice squad or the, second tier. Now, I'm not in California or Texas or Florida, but there's a lot of states out there who, there's a big fish in a small pond. And when they get to the big pond, they realize, so no, your kid's not Michael Jordan. I'm just telling you straight up. My kid was an all-time great at a school. He's not Michael Jordan. He's far from it. And even so, he played college basketball. Okay. There's a lot of people that play college basketball that don't go to the NBA. Your kid's not going to the NBA. So then what? That doesn't mean they can't have dreams. But if you're sitting there telling, oh yeah, you're the next Michael Jordan. And by the way, genetics does factor in. If you're 5'2", and the kid's 5'2", fully grown, they're probably not going to go to the NBA. And they're probably not going to go to the NFL. I mean, you do need to be physically big and fast and all of that stuff to go on to play professional sports. Now, I do know that the NIL has changed college sports, and that has opened the door for a lot of people. But even then, competition is stiff. And by the way, they're not just recruiting your neighborhood. They're recruiting the world. Think about that. In your little neighborhood, your kid might be great. In your school, your kid might be good or great. In your state, your kid might be great. They're recruiting the world. And they get the best players from the world. So it's just something to think about. All right? As a coach, coaches want to win. I don't know any coach that are like, yeah, I'm going to sign up for a 3-20 year. No, I've been there. I've been on both ends of that. At one season, I was 1-23. And the one was the last game of the season. Brutal year to go to practice every day for everybody. I've also been on the 23-1 team where it's a lot of fun. So, I've been on both of those, coached both of those. Remember, those kids are not you. As a coach, I told you, I've had coaches that coached my kids that were bad and some were good. The good ones build your kids up. The good ones teach fundamentals. They don't teach their little stupid play in 7th grade that might work, but doesn't translate into the next level. If they're not teaching your kids fundamentals, they are doing your kid a disservice. If they're not teaching your kid how to play defense, if they're not teaching your kid how to the perfect technique to block, the perfect technique to throw, the perfect technique to shoot. If they're more worried about beating a team 78-2, which I've seen, I've actually been on both sides of that. It's been brutal on both sides of it. Winning 73-1 in a basketball game, and I'm telling my kids not to shoot unless you have a layup, but every shot's a layup. What are you going to do? Okay, now shoot with your offhand. Okay, you try. So that's not good basketball, though. And I've seen coaches run around and say, "Hey, I'm 48-2, and I'm beating teams by an average of 50." Yeah, what have you taught your kids, though? Is anything you've taught your the kids on the team, going to translate into high school basketball or even beyond that? If the answer is no, then you're doing them a disservice. And that's where parents off-site, in a calm manner, need to just advocate and talk to a coach, again, off-site, and say, "Hey, can I talk to you for a few minutes? I just have a couple of things. I'm concerned that don't talk about playing time about your kid. You need to talk in generalities. I'm concerned that the kids are not learning how to box out properly. I'm concerned that the kids aren't learning blocking techniques, or how to pull as a guard or tackle, or how to throw the ball, or how to hand off, or how to cut, or how to block or hit, spike in volleyball. Technique. Those are the things that you should talk to. Don't ever talk to a coach about playing time. I got done losing a game one time. I was coaching a team. We lost a game, tight game, and against our rival. Close play at the plate. Our kid was called out. I asked the referee, umpire, said, "Hey, what happened?" He told me what he saw. Okay. Then I got my bags over my shoulders. We're clearing out to go to the bus. And I had a parent just come up to me and start berating me to my face. Now, I'm 6'6", and this guy was like 5'8", a tough guy, with all my stuff on, knowing that I was representing a school and nothing I could do about it. And he was this tough guy, just telling me what a terrible coach I was. 5 minutes after a tough loss, I almost lost right there, a lot. But I had some parents and assistant coaches kind of getting between us, and I just walked away. I just said, "I'm going to walk away, man." And you know what? I never heard from that guy again. He never apologized, nothing. So whatever. I was 15 years ago, but it's just not the time. There is a time possibly, but again, not playing time and not a play. Technique only. All right? Please heed my words here. I just gave you the role of a parent, the role of a coach. Those two are not intertwined. By the way, even if you're a parent coach and you're a volunteer, you heed my words. If you're the coach, teach technique, not your silly little play. It worked against the fourth graders last year. It doesn't translate. Teach technique. Okay? If you're a parent, help the coach, not call plays, but if they need, "Hey, I need you, can you run over there and get that water? Can you," whatever. Support your kid. Root for your team and for your kid, not against the other team. Don't talk trash to the other team. Don't root on injuries, which I've seen. It's unbelievable. It brings out the worst in some people. Please don't let that be you. Thank you for following Hallpass. I hope you heed the words I'm telling you. I have a lot of experience with both of these situations, being a parent and a coach, and both. Please like and share my Hallpass, my podcast. Check me out on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. And always remember, JRod loves you. I'll see you.